When you think of famous robbers, a few names might come to mind, such as John Dillinger, Jesse James, Babyface Nelson, and Butch Cassidy. But the amount of money they stole is nothing compared to a man you've probably never heard of. His name is Maxim Yakubets, and he started and heads the hacker organization Evil Corp. Let's go on an adventure down the rabbit hole that is Evil Corp and see how they stole hundreds of millions of dollars from people all around the world. Imagine you're a hacker. It's just a regular day. You're minding your own business, stealing credit card info and social security numbers. Business is good. You've just decrypted the password algorithm for the servers of a social media website's client list. You now have free reign over their clients' info and accounts. All is going according to plan when suddenly your computer screen goes completely black. You check the power and connections, everything's fine. Then you notice a neon green cursor blinking against the black background of the screen. That's odd, you think. You hit the escape key, you try to force a reboot. Nothing works. It seems as if you've lost control of your computer. Then a message begins to type across your screen in green lettering. Hello, hacker. Your work is good. Would you like to become part of something bigger? Bigger, you think? What is this? Who's playing this joke on me, you ask yourself. Then, as if the screen were listening, green letters scroll across the blackness. No joke, your future lies with Evil Corp. Join us and become richer than your wildest dreams. Refuse us and your life will be destroyed. The screen goes completely black for a moment and then your computer screen flashes back to what you'd been previously working on. The list of the client info you stole remains right where you left it, like nothing had ever happened. What was that? My future lies with Evil Corp? What is Evil Corp? And how did an innocent hacker like me end up on their list? You say out loud. More importantly, do you really have any other choice but to join them? You certainly don't want your life to be destroyed, do you? The next night, you boot up your computer and wait. Suddenly, the screen goes black and the neon cursor blinks. I'm in, you type. You've now been indoctrinated into the cybercrime syndicate of Evil Corp, a hacker organization led by a man named Maxim Yakubets. Like all hackers, Yakubets goes by a pseudonym. Online, he's known by the alias Aqua. He had started Evil Corp almost a decade ago and had been stealing money from businesses around the world ever since. All in all, cybercrimes over the next 5 years are estimated to cost businesses between $45 to $600 billion per year. That's billions with a B. Once in the organization, you're given their most powerful tool. Aqua, or Yakubets in the real world, sets you up with two of the most powerful malware viruses on the market. The programs are called Zeus and Bugat. Both can be used to steal bank account information so that you can hack into an unknowing user's account and transfer cash to money mules in different parts of the world. The way the malware works is simple yet effective. A link appears via email or a web page of the targeted person. You, the hacker, would monitor the links carefully. When someone clicks on the link, the malware is released onto their computer, which gives you free reign over their passwords and account numbers. You are living large with Evil Corp. You have the power of the evil organization at your fingertips. Once the malware is installed, a keylogger unlocks and sends you all of the target's passwords. The malware then does something very tricky. It creates fake banking pages prompting the person to voluntarily put in their credentials, thus speeding up the process of obtaining their information to a few keystrokes. You're now able to access all of the target's accounts and send their funds to the money mules hired by Evil Corp. These international money mules then launder the money. They've been recruited by Evil Corp via work-at-home job postings through regular job search websites. Who would have thought it'd be so easy? Evil Corp then gives each mule trivial tasks or busy work for a few days prior to being asked to handle the money transfers. They do this to weed out the slowpokes and people not taking the money laundering business seriously. To be fair, most of the money mules are misled and unaware that they're doing anything illegal. You can't help but sit back and smile as you send millions of dollars of stolen money to unknowing employees of Evil Corp. It's almost time for your payday. And then something surprising happens. You see your boss on the news. He is on an FBI's most wanted poster. Yeah, you knew Evil Corp was, well, evil, but you had no idea how evil until the report came out. Evil Corp had apparently stolen over $100 million from businesses around the world. But here's the thing that makes you question your allegiance to Evil Corp. They had stolen millions of dollars from schools and religious organizations. Is this who I am, you think? You're honestly just in it for the hacking and stealing of rich people's money. Kinda like a modern-day cyber Robin Hood. But stealing money from children and nuns? That's messed up. To make it worse, you see videos of your bosses at Evil Corp racing down the streets of Moscow, doing donuts around neighborhoods and parking lots, and even tempting the cops to chase them. They're doing these crazy acts in cars that are worth well over $100,000 each. You learn that Yakubets also works closely with other leaders in the organization, Igor Turashev and Evgeny Bogachev. The latter being the mastermind behind the powerful malware that Evil Corp had given you at the start of your hacker journey. All 3 of the leaders are wanted by the FBI. What's even more astounding is that the cash rewards for information leading to their arrests are all over $3 million. Jakobetz himself is worth $5 million, the largest reward ever offered for a cybercriminal. After doing more digging, you find that Evgeny Bogachev, along with other members of Evil Corp, used the malware not just for stealing money, but for more insidious purposes. The team of Evil Corp hackers used the tools of the organization to search for classified information from countries that were of special strategic interest to the Russian government. Evil Corp was meddling in the stability of the world by stealing classified information from Turkey and Ukraine on behalf of the Russian government. This gives you pause. Maybe you've been going about this all wrong. You could be a millionaire and a hero just for providing information about Evil Corp to the feds. But what would Evil Corp do to you in return? There had been stories of people being let go from their jobs, having their identities stolen, or their lives ruined for getting in the way of Evil Corp. You definitely do not want any of these things happening to you. Besides, it's nearly impossible for the United States or any organization to get close to Jakobetz and the rest of Evil Corp because they are all in Russia. It goes without saying that the US and Russia have not always seen eye to eye or gotten along. But this is even more the case when it comes to Russian hackers. Whether they work for the government or for an entity like Evil Corp, Russia passionately protects their cyber hackers. In fact, Jakobetz even obtained a license from the government to work with Russian classified information in 2018. That is a lot of trust to put in the hands of a hacker whose organization has stolen tens of millions of dollars. The longer you work for Evil Corp, the more sophisticated and evil things get. The head programmers of the hacker organization modify the malware. Now, when the victim clicks on the malware link, Evil Corp sends them to a modified webpage of their own bank. This webpage displays a phony customer support number, so Evil Corp has all their information and passwords. And when the victim seeks help, they're calling a fake customer support line. What won't these guys do? You slowly start to lighten your workload from Evil Corp. You know you have to somehow disappear and get away from the villainous organization. You start to deactivate your accounts, change your usernames, get off the grid. You still keep tabs on Evil Corp just to make sure you aren't on their hit list. Things are quickly getting out of hand at Evil Corp. Pictures of leaders of the organization with arms full of cash are being sent across the internet. They post a video with a pet lion cub they bought on the black market. They are untouchable. The FBI and other international agencies are still looking for ways to bring Jakobetz and the members of Evil Corp to justice. It does not seem that the organization and their associates will be stopped anytime soon. Evil Corp is still a functioning entity and still stealing millions of dollars from people around the world. You are glad you got out before they do something that could lead to an international conflict. All you know is that Evil Corp truly lives up to their name. They are evil. You might be a little hesitant to click on any links after watching this episode, but we promise if you click on this video here or that video there, the only thing we'll be stealing from you is love. So click now and keep the watch party going with your favorite YouTube channel.